So Craig, I think it's more or less 2 months to the day since you landed now. How have you found your first 2 months here?
Yeah, it's been great. I know it's funny, it feels like a long time, but it also feels like sort of yesterday that I just turned up as well. I suppose when you think about being away from your family and those sort of things, that makes it long, but when you look at the fact of joining a cricket team and a whole lot of new people and introducing yourself and getting to know them, the time's going really, really quick, and it's been really valuable. Just you can't beat time. I'm a big believer in being patient and building relationships, so you need the time to do that. So I really enjoyed it. It's great now, we're outside, the sun's shining, it's been, the weather's been fantastic. Even though we went to Abu Dhabi, you can't complain. We were outside before we went away, so we're getting ready to play. We're looking forward to the competition. We've got a couple of weeks to iron out a few wee things, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, you talk about time, and I suppose time was one of the big things you had out in Abu Dhabi, 10 days or so out there. How important was that in terms of getting the group together as much as anything?
Yeah, I think brilliant for that, especially for me. It was the first time we had, all the squad minus a few players, a couple of, injuries and obviously our England players, but Tammy was there. You can't beat learning about people when you're with them all the time. Players got to know me probably outside of just, talking cricket. And then getting to play cricket was crucial, because you can train as much as you want at Trent Bridge, you can be indoors, but when you start playing the game, it's where we show what we've learned in the winter, it shows where we're at, and also the key things. And you're not going to get a better place to go to. Facilities unbelievable, hotel brilliant, we were looked after just about international cricketers. So all of our amazing trip, we played some really good cricket, but we come away knowing we've got a lot of work to do in certain areas as well. So it was warm over there. It challenged us in ways that we're not going to be probably challenged when we get back here. But most importantly, I think we spent the time as a group getting to know each other and working out what's important to us.
Yeah, I guess that is something that people can say sometimes. 2 weeks in Abu Dhabi in 30-degree heat, how that prepares you for a very chilly April day maybe in Nottingham. But how does that work, that sort of preparation?
Some things not a lot, but also it challenges I suppose your fitness, it challenges your strength of mind, and you get put into situations where you've got to work really hard, probably under fatigue, and that's good, because that's when we find out about our decision making and how we operate. But more importantly, a game of cricket's still a game of cricket, and the way we play tactically, and so the weather's been great here. I mean, the outfields are going to be good, the pitches are going to be good, there's probably a lot more similarities than maybe in the past, especially with the way the weather's been. But overall, there's a lot of stuff we can transfer back here. And at the end of the day, when you bat, you face a ball. When you're in the field, you got to field a ball. When you're bowling, you got a ball, and we have to use all those over there as well.
Yeah, and how important was it that it was competitive cricket? There was a T20 tournament there against fellow Tier 1 sides.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. It was great to see Tasmania and see them come over. They had some younger players, but still, they had some quality players. Surrey, we got to play them twice as well, who had some young players like we did, but also a lot of their players that'll be rolling out for them. And good to get Yorkshire, who Tier 2 this year, but they made the final, and they got some really impressive young players coming through. So the game of cricket, it doesn't matter who you play. If you don't respect it and you don't respect the opposition, the game will quickly come and bite you in the backside. And we've played some really good cricket, especially in the 2020. We've got, I suppose, you look at our history, wonderful record. I think players are more confident. It probably highlighted some stuff in the 50-over competition, and some key areas which probably align to my strengths too when it comes to batting, and things that we can do, that we can make some adjustments. We're already doing it today in the nets. We're talking about sort of being brave, having courage, playing with some freedom. So that's one of my, I suppose, the things I love coaching directly, as opposed to just being a head coach. So young bowling attack, a lot of good things in there too, and we've got Fletch, who's getting to know them in the coaching side of things. So yeah, lots of things to look forward to.
Yeah, just 2 weeks now until the start of that 50-over competition. So how are you structuring that last fortnight of preparation? Yeah,
it's coming around very quick. You're right. It's you felt relaxed 1 minute, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the calendar, and at the end of next one is a game. Just real purposeful now. The volume's done, a lot of the work's done. I think it's just more good conversations, and then we were in the nets having a real purpose to what we're trying to do. Real focus on this Friday. We're playing down at Edgbaston. The game's become more important. You start getting into your systems that you use during the game, but we've still got to grow. We're still developing. We've still got, we've had some wonderful results, but we've still got to make sure that our program and our training structure is that we're still developing, we're still growing, we're still learning, because that's how we're going to keep pushing the benchmark up, and that's how we're going to try and stay ahead of the pack.
Yeah, and I guess like every side, there's been players to juggle in terms of availability around the world. The Bryces are away at the minute. Kirsty's been away for a long period of time as well. How do you juggle that as a head coach?
Yeah, just good communication. Kirsty's easy. We catch up regularly. She loves to stay involved. The Bryces were on the tour for the first part, so that was great. We sent them off and wished them all the way to Scotland, and obviously Orla's over there as well, playing for Ireland. So I think we're more used to it here in the UK than maybe where I was from in New Zealand. We've just got good structures. We stay connected. They're playing cricket. I suppose the key is when they come back, they're not driven into the ground, and we've got to make sure that they probably feel recharged. We've got to re-energise them. We've got to look after them and just make sure that it's a long summer ahead for the Blaze, that we have them ready to go. But we enjoy it. We love watching Kirsty play for England A and do well. We love watching the Bryces play for Scotland. I was watching them this morning, and with Orla playing for Ireland, you feel connected to those parts as well. I caught up with Craig from Scotland, coach, before we went away, and it's actually nice to have more connections and feel connected to those teams around the world because of our players.
Yeah. You mentioned the international players and keeping them energised, but I suppose across the board now, it's a longer season than it has been before. There's a lot of games in the next 3 or 4, 5 months. How do you manage to, or how have you tried to plan to make sure that energy levels and enthusiasm, I guess, as much as anything, are strong?
Well, you got to enjoy yourself. I mean, the game should energise. It's tough. It's a tough old game, and have failures, and if you don't think you're going to get a rude awakening. And I think if you create a quality environment and the culture's really, I suppose, diverse, accepting, happy, you actually get energy from being around each other, and that's one of my sort of non-negotiables, and trying to make sure we do that. Even when we're training, we're having fun, we've got energy. But we've got to also make sure that when we've got downtime, you take your downtime. Sometimes stepping away and having a day off or having a break can actually be recharging and actually better for you mentally and also probably physically. So, we've got enough experience within our group, within our coaching group, and then our senior players. Throw in our England players too. We've got, fingers crossed, we had Tammy with us on tour, and that was wonderful. To have an England player diving around in the dirt in Abu Dhabi in pre-season is quite inspiring for our younger players. But it's great for us as coaches, and hopefully we get to see, Amy and Sarah and potentially Nat at some stage too, depending how it all looks. So we want to welcome them back and have them feel like they belong to the Blaze, and then when they play for us too, they're motivated, and they teach our players a huge amount. So there's a lot to juggle, you're right, but they're pretty first world problems, and ones that I'm pretty privileged to be able to have.
Yeah, and it is just 2 weeks until that first game just over the road.
Yeah.
On a personal level, how much are you looking forward to that?
I spent the last 2 days sitting at Trent Bridge in our office watching the Notts men get their wonderful win in the first game, and in some ways I was talking to a friend back home and said, mate, I'm sitting out looking at Trent Bridge, the home from back to Sir Richard Hadlee. I mentioned at the very start the connection. I grew up as a young boy and a young teenager wanting to come to Notts because of Sir Richard, and to now call it home, to call the office home, and seeing the way it looks at the moment, it looks 5 stars, and it'll be pretty special to walk out and say, this is the office for the day. I mean, we're there at the moment, but to coach on it and know it's my home and our team's home, which is really important to us, is I think there'll be a wee moment where I'll stand and just take it all in and take a wee mental picture and just think back to that 5-year-old boy who used to watch Sir Richard Hadlee, and then when the New Zealand team used to tour here and play here. So but then we've got to get to work, but in saying that, you do feel very, very lucky to know that that's your home ground.